What's going on, people? We are live now. We are live. And this is the show that everybody's kind of been talking about, waiting for. Um, so I want to go ahead and introduce our guest. He is a martial arts kind of mini historian, we could say. Overall, good guy. Former moderator in FMA-Discussion, as with myself, Mr. Julius Vladimir Francisco. What's going on, man? How's it going?
Oh man, it's been 2 years since I did anything related to this, like martial arts
Yeah, I
podcast.
know. It's been a while. It's been a
Yeah, almost 2 years.
while. Um, so guys, tonight we're just gonna just kind of talk about like our experiences on the show. FMA discussion was kind of a thing I stumbled upon back I can't even know how many years ago it was. This 2019, I believe. Is it 2019 the show was done or
Yeah.
around that time? Yeah.
Well,
And
yeah, it was right before the pandemic when it was really got into, and then pandemic it
yeah,
kind of blew off, blew out. Yeah.
yeah. So me and Julius were kind of like avid watchers of the show. I found the show to be
Yeah.
informative. Dean did a good job with the show, getting it set up. Nothing. There was a couple of the shows before that that weren't, as popular as this one became to be. I think, but I mean, he certainly didn't wasn't reinventing the wheel. But I mean, the show did do a lot of things a lot of the shows didn't do, which has got focus on people who weren't well known FMA community. COVID was like the big thing. Like we're kind of sitting at home and scratching our balls pretty much, and we're just kind of like, hey, I just started really looking online. Couldn't really go out and train much, and just kind of looking on there and seeing what's on changing the flick of the channel and shit, and seeing what's going on. And I kind of stumbled on this FMA discussion show on Facebook Live and not Facebook Live, but on Facebook. And it's just kind of I was watching it and shit, and I was just like, man, like this is a good show. Like I started participating in it, in the Q&A part and the comment section, and I started, just kind of, just like everybody else. I think like you were right, like just watching it and really liking what the content was on there. Um, and yeah, it's some good shit. I'm not gonna lie, it was great stuff. And I started just coming on and being a regular, a lurker. I guess I was a lurker. I would always lurk on, leave comments, and watch Dean do his thing. And it was good shit. And one day, after I think it was about a year or so, I was approached by him to become a moderator on the show. And it was very shocking. Like would pick me. I was a nobody. I wasn't really like a well-known person at all. Nobody knows who the fuck I am. You know what I mean? I'm just kind of just coming on there, just like leaving comments once in a while. And he's just like, oh, you leave comments in there, and and you seem like you're a good enough guy. So I accepted the position. I'm not saying it's a job, but I accepted the position and doing it. And I was shocked that like I was picked. And basically, I was in charge of just like kind of moderating the forum. And I believe I was the first moderator to come on the show. That's not like I'm trying to get brownie points or anything, but I think you were second, right, Julius?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, and then it was Guro Tom, and then there was other people afterwards. Um, but anyway, yeah, just the experience being on the show, like it was good. I mean, I met a lot of people on the show. People that I've never would have probably met, like on my own if I hadn't reached out to them personally, but through the show, it was affording me to reach out to them on a more personal level to do interviews and everything. But I wasn't able to do interviews right away, and I was kind of just moderating at first. And then it was many years later I was asked to do interviews. I don't know if that was because I wasn't ready yet. They didn't feel I was ready yet to do it, or they didn't trust me to do it. I don't know what the reason is to this day. But I was able to do them at a later date in time. But I want to go ahead and enough about how I got started. I want to start talk to you, Julius, and how you were approached and how you even stumbled on the channel.
I stumbled in the first few episodes of the channel. My primary introduction to it was not the Facebook group, but through YouTube. There was kind of like a troll guy that um, kept on posting in the comments. A lot of people know who he is in the FMA community, just don't want to out him. And I was trying to check him. It's like, hey man, that's not correct. Your info's not right. And then kind of, I think Dean saw that and liked that. And then I joined like the Facebook group. I know a lot about the FMA history because my family was involved in the revolution, fighting the Spaniards and then later the Americans. And then during World War II, also in the Hook insurgency.
Mhm.
And so that's how I know a lot about it. Prior to FMA-Discussion, my background was in more really Western martial arts besides just FMA, because I did box. I just didn't turn pro. I did wrestle in high school. And then I picked up FMA as a kid in the Philippines and then continued it here with Lameco. I
Mhm.
trained with Felix Valencia and Erico, which is part of the Backyard Original group, the Edgar's group. Uh, and so that was my thing. That was my kind of my in. And so that was it. I really enjoyed it in the beginning, man. It was dope. I have to think how it was like the early days, because the thing is, it really was kind of like a golden period of like introducing so many people in the community, not just FMA community. There's a lot of combative guys in there, a lot of
Mhm.
people from across the country, from the Philippines and in Europe.
It was really the good thing about it was like it was really diversified. Excuse me. And I think Dean did a great job in doing that and showcasing, diversifying the type of people. Like I said, it was combatives people, and there was like strictly knife systems. I think we had at least Tom Sodas on there, Drew Burton. There was a whole good variety of people that was on there, and a lot of people that were on there weren't even showcased. Like people didn't even know about them, and through the show, they were advertised more. People got to see what they had in their system. They got to see who they were as a person, what their background was. And I think bringing you on was smart because, dude, you're like the fucking FMA encyclopedia. I mean, you know way more than I fucking do. I'm a scumbag, when it comes to knowing FMA history. So it's like you knew the whole fucking gamut of just like these little facts and shit that I don't think you didn't even knew. You know what I mean? Like you knew a lot of shit, and I think that's why you were a valuable asset to the team, is because you knew so much about the history and you weren't afraid to fucking call people out. And that's what, me at the time, I was kind of a pussy. I'd sit in the back and I'd kind of just be like, I don't want to cause trouble. I kind of want to be respectful. I kind of just want to, just observe. But there was times I wanted to say shit, and it's just like I wanted to, I was kind of like, well, I keep myself in check until I'm more, established in the group. I don't want to make any waves and shit. It's like, when you go on a fucking new team, if you're like in a sports team, you go on a sports team, you don't start like, throwing 3 pointers right away. You know what I mean? You start with your zone defense. You start with your layups. You're passing the ball. You're not a ball hog, right? So I kind of laid low and I was just like observing, you know what I mean? But you kind of went in there and I think it's because you had the confidence, you had the knowledge to back it up. You weren't afraid to call motherfuckers out. And I think that's what was a great asset of yours to the team. When Guru Tom came on, I think he brought the fair, balance, neutral. And Guru Tom is a fucking phenomenal guy. I mean, he's a great. I have nothing respect for him. He's a great guy. He's very neutral, very fair, and he brought that to FMA-Discussion.
Yeah, he brought decorum to FMA-Discussion for real.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
He is. Since he was still part of the thing. But he is a very important thing to that show. So I think in the beginning we were a powerhouse. That's why we had so many. We were on a roll with the raffles. There was a lot of good things done on the show, and it's still, as far as my knowledge, being done on the show with the raffles, the charity paperwork. Well, I think the raffles are done anyway. I think the raffles were done when I left.
You know who
But
we got to thank during the early days is really like some key seminal figures besides obviously Dean and the rest of us, but those first few episodes, Dwight Woods, Tom
Yes.
Sotis, Burton Richardson, and then Desolier from Canada, man, Martin.
Martin. Yeah.
He's
I don't know
really
if
like
Martin's
like
still.
an awesome, but he's an awesome guy, man. So I got nothing but good things to say
Yeah.
about him. You
Yeah,
know,
he's a nice guy. I think he's still part of the show. I'm not sure or not. I know he left a couple times, came back in again. And let me turn on this light. I'm getting dark here. It's starting to get dark here where we're at. But
that's right.
yeah, yeah. So like I said, in the early parts of the show, it was really structured. There was no egos involved. We weren't concerned about making money. We're concerned about getting the message out there and getting the FMA community, trying to bring them together through having a great show and kind of just showing what we could do as a team. And you notice I mentioned the keyword team because no matter what anybody says, I've been seeing a lot of videos, and everybody's like, "Well, these guys are overvalidating their contributions." No, no, fuck that.
Hey,
This,
particularly you, because you
yeah,
have you put money in there, and then the opening theme is your son's music, man.
yeah. I put a lot of stuff in there, and it was a team effort. Guru
Right,
Tom with the graphics,
right.
you traveling at your own dime to do interviews, which a lot of people don't know about, that you traveled to Northern California from Southern California to do interviews with grandmasters. You were passionate about the show. And I think we all had that fire and passion in the beginning in the show. You know what I
I'm
mean?
not gonna lie to you, Brian. I was even thinking of flying to interview people, man.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You
I know
know,
that was talked about when we had our meetings and our show. Yeah, different things like that. So it definitely was a team effort. Yes, one person made the show and it was their brainchild. Just like me. I mean, with this show, the Fight House Talks podcast was a brainchild I had a while back. Doing it. But then, bringing Coach Kurt in, he had the same similar vision that I did. So I mean, I can't just say, well, this is my show. This is all me. I thought of all this. There was a team effort. It's still a team effort. I'm a fucking retard when it comes to doing fucking doing the technical part of the show. Kurt had to set this up for me tonight because I can't fucking do technical stuff as far as computer wise, and I'm working on that. That's my fault. Maybe that's why kind of I didn't have a whole lot of the value in other shows because I don't know all the technical computer stuff. So Kurt has been tremendous in setting this all up. So I want to thank him tonight for setting this all up. If he didn't get this set up on the computer, we wouldn't be broadcasting right now because, like I said, I'm an idiot when it comes to this shit. So there you go. There's my there's my self bashing for tonight. But yeah, like I said, it really the first year or 2 years was really a good experience where we were on a roll and we were doing a lot of good shit for the community through the raffles for the orphans.
and
When
and, and,
grandmasters
and
was
here's the
sick.
thing, man. I gotta applaud you on that, because the thing is, I never brought in any dough to the show, but you did. The only thing I did to the show that was anything thing like that was I did kind of like the Goggins challenge, and then donating
Yeah.
money on that for like I think GM Renee's thing, right? But
Yeah.
I didn't put a cent in the show like that, meaning like well I did drive to
Yeah.
NorCal and do all these
Hey,
things, but I'm saying
that all,
but
yeah,
but
yeah.
that raffle, man, like those raffles, it was all pretty much you, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I don't want to say it was August me. It was a team effort.
Yeah, it
I'm not
was.
all about taking single accolades, but yes, I donated some stuff on there. I did the raffle tickets, stuff like that. But everybody was a team and instrumental in getting it done.
Yeah.
But even the stuff you did is, I mean, the dedication you had to the show was tremendous. I mean, with the driving, you putting the work in. Like I said it when I made on my live video on my page a while back. The show was successful because why? Getting up at 7 in the morning doing interviews, staying up late. Guru Tom staying up to 1 or 2 in the morning doing interviews.
I did that too. Yeah.
You traveling and doing interviews. You putting the work in to get people in. I
Or
mean,
getting
so,
people in, like because you have to
yeah,
drive in to talk to them, like yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
So it was definitely a team effort. Dean, like talking about doing the raffles, us having the meetings. So that was very instrumental in getting everything done to make the channel what it is today. And like I said, there's going to be haters on there are going to be saying that, well, these guys are over validating their contributions. I've heard that a lot. Fuck that, man. Like this was definitely everybody pulling together. Even the moderators they have on there now, Guro Brian, Guro Lori, Martin, even though they're not doing interviews, they're still doing moderating in some form of capacity. The show is still functioning, not just because of one person, because of several people. And I always would see during interviews, I started seeing as time would progress, there wasn't a whole lot of thank yous for a lot of people that were doing stuff. I think it was maybe taken for granted for a while that as time went on, there was thank yous in the beginning, but as time went on, it seemed like it was kind of just like, well, like it was expected to do things to keep the show going.
And here's the thing: the cleaning house too of the comments and discussion, the actual moderating, because that's like a 24 hours, 24/7 type of thing. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
we're not just relegated to one time zone, and then we're just one jabroni with thing, and then we got to go over that with Dean. Like, hey man, we got to delete that. That don't look good. That can cause strife among systems.
Mm-hmm.
That's all
And,
Dean. You know what I mean? No, I mean
yeah, yeah,
you guys. You know what I mean?
yeah. And then there was a lot. There was a lot of, like I said, there was a lot of stuff where politics were being played, sides were being like kind of taken, and it was like just because this one guy's on there and he's been on a couple times, and should we just let this person run amok in the comment section and put other people down and do things, or should we keep this person in check? And it was kind of like, well, this guy's a friend of mine, or whatever. And it was like, nah, if we're gonna be fair with people, we're gonna be fair for everybody. We're not gonna let some fucking guy go on there and bust balls for everybody in there, talk shit, and and this other guy does it double standard shit, and we're kicking him out because we don't like him, we don't know him. It's like if you do for one, you do for all. And the two-sidedness was kind of something that was being played out later on down the line, not right away, but it was kind of like, we got to keep this shit in check. And I think we did a good job in voicing our opinions and voicing what we had to say to keep that shit in check. You know what I mean? There was a lot of things that were put out later on, like, well, this guy said this and that, and we're just kind of like sweeping on the rug kind of shit. And it's like, nah, we're gonna be fair and balanced. We're gonna kick them out. And I think we did a good job at first working to kicking the bad people out.
At
But
first,
then
at first, at
at
first, and then
first, at
we got
first,
interrupted with doing our job. You know what I'm saying?
so we started. We've kind of just laid the foundation of the good things of why we're on the show and what good it did us. I was always told, look what the show did for me. And I'm here to say on live that, I didn't get paid for anything. I didn't ask to get paid for anything. I'm not expecting to get paid for anything. But I keep hearing, like, look what the show did for you. I don't really see a whole lot it did for me. I mean, nobody really knows who I am still. I'm kind of like, relative unknown. The experience was good at first. But I don't feel that it did tremendous leaps and bounds for me like it was being portrayed, by some people. Um, the idea for the show was something that I had a long time ago before I even started watching FMA-Discussion. I had a couple of people involved. They weren't able to do it. So I kind of just like, well, like there goes that idea, I mean? And I really don't know a whole lot of people yet. So I started reaching out to more people, I mean? And then it kind of just like, it kind of
Oh,
just went away for a while. Like, well, I'm part of this team now. I'll have other things going on in my life. Maybe I'll just do it. I'll revisit this at a later time. When you were doing the show, did you ever find out? Did you ever have any ideas of maybe trying to branch off on your own? Like you felt like maybe, I could do this show on my own. Maybe I have ideas. Maybe there's a certain direction I want to go, or you just kind of like, I'm just gonna ride this out. Doing the show and just kind of see where it goes.
so the thing.
Okay, you
Okay, we
froze. You're back.
we cut out initially.
Hey, you're
Can you
back.
hear me now?
Yeah,
Hear me now?
yeah, I can hear you. Oh, you're frozen again.
Okay.
Okay, now I can hear you.
Well, I
Go ahead.
mean, there was my own martial arts, mar, there, my own martial arts channel. They were supporting because I love martial arts. But I've had a YouTube channel since 2006, and the thing is that I was actually part of the initial wave of YouTube, like one of the first people that was um that like made money off of it. So I was doing that long before FMA Discussion. I sold that to somebody. I had an old YouTube channel that was doing interviews for physicists, and in fact, that's the kind of reason why I'm kind of ticked off.
Your signal's real bad.
Are you there,
Yeah, your signal's real bad.
Gremlins? You hear me,
You're cutting out. Yeah. Okay, now you're good. You're good now.
Brian? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah. So the
Good.
thing is, I was initially thinking of just branching out after about like a year in, and they were very supportive about that. Like the people in our channel, and said like, oh, I will like endorse you. I'll support the channel. Blah blah. I actually didn't want to do anything with martial art. At first, I was thinking of doing that, but I was thinking of just like maybe going back to like a science show that I had like back in like the mid to late 2000s,
Mm-hmm.
because I was doing a lot of interviews for physicists before, and that's why I was pissed off at some of these channels that you watch in the Science Channel or like History Channel, because they interviewed a lot of
Yeah.
the stuff, the guys that I interviewed.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really what more I wanted to do with it, but not have to anything to do with martial arts, because even coming in and working in FMA Discussion, things were very political on the side, on the secret, on the DMs. I was getting like messages from across the world of like, hey, blah blah blah, this or whatever, or people insinuating rumors or whatnot,
Mm-hmm.
or like giving you threats. It's like, hey man, you don't even know me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just a moderator in this thing. I
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
not my channel. Like, you know what I mean?
And I was getting the same shit too. I get like 3 in the fucking morning. I'm going to work till 5 in the morning, and some GMs messaging me in the Philippines. How come this was said on this episode? Like, dude, like if you got a problem, like talk to Dean about this shit. It's like,
and
and I
and,
would
and,
tell
talk, and,
Dean
and,
like,
and, talk, and talk to the people that we interviewed, not us, because we don't share
yeah,
their views. You know what I mean?
yeah, and I would tell Dean like, man, and he would be like, well, I'll take care of it. And the political side shit, yeah, was a big thing. Like in the first like 2 years of the channel that
Yeah.
we're on. So like I said, it's just it was overall like the experience was good, and I kind of I kind of was like there was a couple of times some things would happen. I'd bite my tongue and I'd be like like, well, fuck, it's not my show. But I was like, well, that's kind of fucked up. It's kind of questionable, but I was kind of like, well, it's not my show. What I mean? And like I said, I'm not gonna talk about that here. Then I'd have to name drop people, and I don't want to do that here. But I think that for me, where it really started to turn was maybe the third year or so, where I started feeling kind of like if you noticed in the early parts of the show, I wasn't doing a whole lot of interviews, and I don't know if I felt well I wasn't allowed to, or they didn't feel they trust me yet to do them because I wasn't really well known. What I mean? I think I felt like I wasn't allowed to do interviews in the beginning because it's like, well, nobody knows this guy. We don't know what he's going to ask. And, I'm a very blunt person. And I think that it was maybe too real for a lot of people. Like, what's he going to do? What's he going to ask? How's he going to act? This might look bad for the channel. Um, and I felt like that in the beginning. It took me quite a while. And it took me towards the end. If you notice, when I started doing interviews by myself, I always had to do interviews with somebody else. And that kind of really frustrated me and pissed me off because I was like, when am I gonna be able to do interviews by myself? And I was always told like, well, you got to pair with somebody else. You know what I mean? And it was just like, dude, like I'm fucking ready. Like let's do this shit. But I felt like like maybe my interviewing style, my realness, just how I am, was maybe kind of would be a black eye for the show, because the show was painted as a wholesome thing. There wasn't a bad language as far as I know, and I cussed a lot. That was another thing that a problem was my use of language. I think the image that was painted in the show in the beginning was like a wholesome, professional kind of thing, and the raw realness that I kind of bring to the show was kind of looked down upon. I feel. And at the time, I was sitting there, and I was kind of like, maybe I should revisit making my own show. And this was like not just like a couple months ago thing. This was something that was coming towards the end where I'm kind of like, maybe I need to revisit. I don't like the direction this is going in. I don't like to be told who I can interview. Maybe that guy's not, good enough to be on this interview, or maybe he's, not going to bring enough viewers. And I think Michael Carriaga, I'm looking at his comments right now. It was stressful. It was feeling more like a job than it was like an actual thing to have fun. Meetings, stuff like that. Worried about where money was going to for the raffles and charity. It wasn't becoming fun, and I had voiced a couple times that maybe I was going to take a break. And I kind of like, I'm gonna take a break a little bit. Then I kind of would retract. It was just my fault, and be like, nah, I'm gonna go and continue with it. I'm just kind of lay low. But I just kind of, before I go more into that, we'll talk about that a little later. So people, I'm setting up where I'm going to go to next with why I left the show. So what I want to talk to Julius, let's take it back. Let's take it back, way back, and let's talk about what happened and what people kind of like were asking. Where did Julius go? Because you abruptly disappeared. Not a whole lot was said in the public about why you weren't on the show anymore. And like basically what we're talking about tonight is reflecting the good, the bad, and the ugly. It's not all good. It's not all bad. It's not all ugly, but it's kind of we have that neutral kind of thing that's going on. So I just want to take it. Let's take it back. Let's run it back and talk about where for you were kind of not on the show anymore. So I don't know or claim to know all the details of what happened or what why the show was you were not on there anymore. So I'm going to let you tell in your own words, because I believe that me coming on here and trying to push a narrative of why you left the show is not what I intend for this to be about. I intend this to be out of your own words, and for you to tell people, your experience, why you were show, the after effects, everything. So I'll let you, without further ado, I'll let you. When did it start to go south for you? When did it, what happened?
I think it happened long before that incident with June and Paul show. Because the thing is, I had a feeling from maybe our like moderation meetings that he wanted me out of there. Because the thing is, I was kind of sensing maybe some type of animosity. You know that when we do an episode, we actually log on to his profile, right? And so unintentionally, if people message him through notification, like sometimes we see that, like, you know what I mean? We don't intend to, because I'm just using it to log on to be live, you know what I'm saying? And then like, so I read like a conversation he had, and I was being badmouthed, saying like I'm not authentic or whatnot in like the FMA community. It's like, motherfucker, like, I come from a
Bitch, are you for real?
like I was like I'm from a Katipunan family, man.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? I
So
spar with coach.
you
Like,
feel people were attacking you because they think you have this fake persona, so they were trying to call you out, right?
Like, here's the thing. I don't need the show. I get invited to San Diego Comic Con all the time. My panel, you know that. Like, you know what I mean? That had nothing to do with martial arts. I don't need this. You get it? You feel me?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I work in indie films before. I saw a couple of movies in the American film market. I'm not looking for no 15 minutes of fame.
And that's the shit that motherfuckers keep talking about. Like, these guys are just looking for the
here's the thing, like, bro, like I don't need you. I go to San Diego Comic Con on a panel. I get invited without doing nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I panel in San Diego. Like, no, fool. Like I would bring in people to watch your thing. You got it ass backwards, man.
Yeah.
Like I come from Ray Bradbury's group, the writer. Yo, don't get it twisted. So I was I'm like, what? Like Why am I getting bad mouth? I'm trying to do well with the FMA community
Yeah.
and trying to set like real history, not like, oh, this is the tale that my great grandpa told me, or
Yeah.
some story about like wizards and shit, or like
Mhm.
some deaf kid in the forest. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's where I got
Yeah.
my system, all that bullshit. I'm trying to go
Mhm.
over like written sources that was from colonial times, uh, written records by like American anthropologists that came. I even had fellow Katipunan families in there, man.
Mhm.
The Balangiga massacre, like when the American soldiers were killed in Leyte, I
Yeah.
was intending to get more people like that in the show because
Mhm.
we're allied with them, like we're like clan allies. A lot of these ties are from like 1898 and longer, like you know what I mean, all up
Yeah.
to the present
Exactly.
day, right?
Uh-huh.
And so the thing is like I'm actually glad it didn't work out because I would have looked bad if it would have been like that and I brought him to the show and the thing and if it was like my name get even more damaged or whatever, like man, that would not look good on me. Those people would hate me, right?
Mhm.
So that was the beginning. That was the beginning. That was like the first straw. I'm like, what? I could see in the comment he didn't defend me. Like I'm like, okay, cool. Like that hurts. You know what I mean? I just let it go.
Yeah.
I didn't want to download the archive or whatever because I'm not like that. Because the thing is, that's his Facebook
None of your
page.
business. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
none of my business, right?
Yeah.
It's none of my business. So I was just like, okay, that really hurt. Whatever, I'll let that go, right?
Mhm.
Then we were doing a moderating thing, right?
Mhm.
And a moderating thing, there's a couple of dudes that they own multiple YouTube accounts,
Mhm.
fake YouTube's accounts. Like this motherfucker will post like fake from like years ago, right? And
Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
he create that YouTube those Facebook profiles just to troll people in FMA. And I
Mhm.
was willing to out him. And you know this about me because you're an airman,
Mhm.
and the thing people entrust you with $1 million equipment. I got
Mhm.
family. I got friends and family in Signet and Signals Intelligence. You don't
Mhm.
think we can reverse IP lookup those motherfuckers?
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. So
So I
I think.
so I know who they are. And the thing
Yeah.
is like, hey man, I'm gonna out this. We're not gonna allow them to go to. And then I talked to Dean and said, hey man, this is not cool. These guys are bullying people. There's a couple of women. Like, no, notice it's become more of a sausage fest. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Initially, there was a lot of women because they were trying to do the outreach, right?
Yeah.
Of course, a lot of women would be off put by that, man, if they see posts like that. You get what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So I
Yeah.
was like, hey, Dina, well, I gotta out them. You know what I mean? Because this is not cool. They're not good for our community, right?
Mhm.
And I got blocked. Like he was like, no, I can't do it. And I know now why. I know now
Mhm.
why. Because that guy is friends with one of the people who he trains with. You know?
So there was
And
a core. It's like looking out for your boy. Like that motherfucker's my boy. So I'm gonna, I'm not
no
gonna
way, maybe it's not
let
his
you get
boy,
shit
but it's
up.
a boy of his boy. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, yeah,
So I was like, well, I don't know. I mean, like, dude, I had serious doubts because I was like, damn, man, what the hell? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I thought we
yeah.
were the good guys, man. We were the knights. You know what I'm saying? We're not the Sith. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Right? And
Oh, don't
then,
say that word because they're gonna call you on it later on in the video. Knights. Who say you're the knights? Oh, I'm just
no,
fucking
but
with you.
you know what I mean, right? I don't
Yeah,
give a
I know.
fuck.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
know
give
what
a
you
fuck
mean.
about these.
Yeah,
Well, we're not gonna respond to these motherfucker trolls. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like, you
yeah.
know, no, but fine. We thought we were on the good side, right?
Mm, mhm.
We thought we were
It's
on the
like you take 2 steps
good
forward
side,
and you
right?
got your dick smacked in the dirt and you
I'm
go
like, all right,
backwards,
cool.
right? Is that what
I
you're saying?
guess I just gotta let that go because it's his house, it's his rules. I get that. I'm gonna repeat that again. It's his house, it's his rules. I get that, right?
Yeah.
But here's the thing. There's a covenant between us and him because it's a group, it's a community, right?
Hmm.
That's a
Yeah.
covenant you sign for. You know, it's a give and take, right? The next kind of straw was I thought we weren't supposed to be political, and then we came up with a list
Oh, you're cutting
of
out
like
again.
top influencers in FMA or something like that. Or
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah. That happened later
motherfucker
on. I
rolling
think that the whole 100
stone
listing was kind of
shit.
off-putting for me.
And I got a bunch of M's and be saying like, "Hey man, don't do this," right? Because it's like
Yeah. Hey man, you're frozen. You're frozen. Your signal's getting bad.
we cut
You're,
out. Are you here? Are
yeah,
you with
you're
me?
pixelating. You're freezing. Do you want to come back in and again, or yeah,
We
you're
we cut out. Are you with me?
yeah. Do you want to log back in again? Like go out and
We
log
cut
back in
out. Are you
again?
still with me?
Yeah. Do you want to go log back in again?
Can you hear me now though?
Yeah, but do you want to go log back in
Can you hear
again?
me
Like
now though?
log out? Yeah, but it's you're pixelated.
Okay, how do I do that? Just close this.
Yeah, and then click that link
Remove
again and
remove
come
remo-
and come back in again. There you go. All right, he's gonna come back in again. Sorry guys, this is the things of live video, right? The live video. Um, yeah. I want to reiterate what he was talking about. For me, a lot of the things of like the top 100 thing, like he says, your house, your rules, and that goes for the same for the show. If somebody's in the show and they disagree with what I say, we'll talk about it. But and ultimately is my house, my rules, or whatever. Um, for me, what just read it was saying during the end towards the show, I was kind of like, do we really need these top 100? Like, was it like the top 100, like best dressers at FMA, top 100? I mean, the political thing of not being political became political because those top 100 kind of isolates people, right? It makes other people feel inferior when they don't make the list. And some people were getting butthurt by that. I didn't make the list, there was motherfuckers out there that like who felt like that. Let me try to bring Julius back in again. Okay, can you hear me now? Okay, you're good. Can you hear me?
Now I can hear you. Can you actually
Okay.
see me though?
Yeah, I can see you. I was talking about we were talking about the political thing, like with the top 100 lists and all that shit. I kind of felt too that was like something that we should have done. Like, you know what I mean? Because if motherfuckers don't make the list to get butthurt, they say they don't in public, but when their name's not on there, they feel like, oh, this motherfucker, like he dogged me. I'm not on that list. You know what I mean? In private, they're telling their boys that shit, like, I didn't make the list. But go ahead and continue what you were saying. I didn't mean to cut you off, but now that you're back on again. Oh, you went back. Oh, fuck. Well, we're having some problems, guys. We are having some problems. Let me see. Let me see. Okay, he's disconnected. Anyway, let's read some comments while we're waiting. Hello, Alicio de Bazabara Jr. How you doing, sir? How you doing, Guru? Kurt, what's up, man? How's Washington? Guru Aubrey, always a great supporter and friend watching. Michael Carriaga, thank you for watching. Coach Danny, all the way from Antigua, California. How you doing, Coach Danny? Watching the show. So, guys, I hope you're enjoying it so far. And like I said, this whole show wasn't meant to. It's not meaning to dog what Dean's doing with the show, whatever. This is just our opinions about how we feel about shit. And it's not that we're bitter because we left. Because at this point, I really don't give a fuck anymore. It's like like I'm putting this thing to rest after the show, and we're just kind of like talking about what's going on, as far as the show, um, our reflections on it, and we're going to be real about it. I mean, there's no sugarcoating and trying to protect people here. So let me add him back to the stream again.
There
All
you
right,
go.
you're back on again. Okay, cool. All right, go ahead. I don't want to waste any time, so just go ahead and continue what you were saying.
Yeah, the thing is the next straw was that because I thought we were not gonna be a political show. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it got that idea came from a certain dude who I don't want to name. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? And I was
Yeah.
like, hey man, I thought we're not the motherfucker Rolling Stones. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, I thought the whole goal was not to be political. I was getting messages from different GMs throughout the planet, and then like, hey man, that list, am I gonna be in there? Because a lot of times I notice this list, and it's one of my students is higher than me. You get what I mean?
Yeah, it
And
caused a lot
and
of animosity. Yeah.
and it did, and I got, and I'm like, sir, like I was like, this is not my show. I'm just like a moderator, right? Like, this is too much
Mm-hmm.
stress in my life, going in,
Mm-hmm.
and I thought the whole point of the show was to avoid being political,
Political. Yeah.
right?
And,
And
and
that
and it's like we slip, kind of like an alcoholic slips that has drinks. Like fuck, I'm gonna stay away from this alcohol. This drink. Let me have one more drink.
and and
We
and, and the
stayed
and the
away
other
and went
the
back to
other
it.
the other thing is we're not supposed to be the arbiter of truth when it comes to we're just supposed to do interviews, right? Document
Mm-hmm.
FMA history, which is what I signed up for, and
Mm-hmm.
then all of a sudden we Rolling Stone and Black Belt magazine. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
fuck that, man. You know what I mean? So so that was it from like I was like, holy crap, like you know what I mean? Like I'm gonna get in trouble for this. It might maybe like certain like connections like in Europe or Asia might kind not damage, but like you know what I mean, be kind of like, hey,
Yeah.
you made the list and I'm not in there, and I've known you for. I'm like, well, I don't care if I'm your boy. That's not my channel. You know what I mean? And I never intended to do that anyway, right?
Mm,
And I think initially when I struck that down, the guy who wanted that list never
mm.
forgave me. Took that personally. He took that as a grudge, and ever since then he hated me. Right? Because remember we struck it down the first time. We struck it down the first time,
Yeah, we talked.
right?
Yeah, yeah.
And then there was a whole brouhaha, and then that guy not kicked out, but he took a break, right?
Mm.
And I was like, dude, what's happening? I thought this was not supposed to be a political thing. This is
It
just
kind of
supposed.
it kind of switched. Yeah, it kind of went like switched gears. Like the intentions were good, like in the beginning, but as it went on, I think a lot of ego played into like the whole thing.
a
Now
lot,
the
a lot,
show's
a lot of
successful.
ego and maybe unresolved trauma from childhood, because unfortunately the martial arts community attracts a lot of those motherfuckers.
Yeah,
You
a
get
lot of
what I
fucking
mean?
people like yeah, a
A
lot of
lot of
fucking
people like
babies,
that.
a lot of
I'm I'm
baby
I'm
motherfuckers in
I'm
there.
I'm gonna change my headset because maybe the headset is the one causing the bandwidth
Okay,
issue.
okay, right, right. Um, yeah. So to reiterate what he was saying, yeah, I think like from my point of view, my opinion, the list was unnecessary. But like you said, that's just my opinion. Just like it's his opinion doesn't mean like somebody says something in this show like, well, you should have done that and that. It's ultimately it's your opinion. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, we ultimately just just kind of just see shit like that. But yeah, who cares? Good riddance to that dude as a friend. Who you talking about, man? Like who we talking about here? Anyway, so like I said, the show we're waiting for Julius to come on. The show for me, like it, the thing with Julius is something like I said, we're letting him talk about it because like I said, I don't want to add my input in it. I wasn't there. So go ahead and continue, man. So like you said, you have your opinion about, why, the things with the list and everything. But so where did what's the whole June and Paul incident? I don't want to keep bringing that up, but I feel you have to uh I said the dude offended by the top 100 list. Oh, so Eric O'Brien was saying that who cares about the guy who was offended by the top 100 list? Um, I don't know who the guy was, but we're not going to name drop his name. But yeah, yeah. Anyway, so go ahead and talk about the like where, like I said, what happened. Like, is a lot of people don't know like why you left, and you were just kind of abruptly removed, and there was really no cause or reason. Just basically that you had left on your own. So
Well, and you know what? Here's the thing. That's his house, right? I
yeah.
get it. It's not a democracy. It's a dictatorship.
Mm,
But that does color your perspective, right? I wasn't even allowed to get my voice out. You
mm,
get what I mean? And
mm,
I had no intention to at that point. At that point, I was like, I don't need this in my life. I abandoned FMA completely. Like I just kind of trained with my own group that I've been with for
mm,
20 plus years, and I'm like, you know what? There's a saying in Filipino is like nasa huli ang pagsisisi, which means like only in the end do you feel regret.
mm,
You never do that at like the time, like you know what I mean,
mm.
like the things go down. I regret I ever got involved with that whole fucking thing. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
cause
I noticed you cause a lot of mental and like stress and other shit that you didn't need in your life, and I
no, I didn't.
understand
Cause the
that.
thing is, like, I was hurt badly by the pandemic. I lost my business,
Mm,
my rental property in the Philippines, and my condo got foreclosed. I was in a rough
mm,
spot in my life, man, and that was
mm,
kind of like a thread on the rope of like I get to do something to kind of distract me because this is my passion.
mm,
And then I got approached by my GM. You know what I mean? Like one of the people who trained me, and he was just like, "Hey man, you shouldn't do that." Like from the very beginning, right? From the very beginning, because he was very old school. Like, and I kind of get that route. You know that the FMA is supposed to be in the shadows because it's a killing thing. You know, and it really gets its origins from combatives and actually HEMA and like ancient arts in the RP. it wasn't no stick thing, it's a blade thing. You know what I mean? And people shouldn't be openly talking about that because that's not kosher. Like, you know what I mean? Like, shouldn't be proud of like murdering someone. It's a murder art, man. It's not for self defense,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so looking back, yeah, man, I no, man, I kind of have that feeling that's just if I could do it all over again, I wouldn't have got involved in it. I would just been
Wow.
quiet.
Wow.
That's how bad it became.
Mm.
And the thing
So,
is,
so you felt that maybe if you just had kind of been like subservient, kind of like submissive, and just like laid back, kind of like what I was doing in the beginning, laying back and just observing and not really getting involved so much into like the political bullshit.
no, not even getting anything in there. Maybe not even joining the group.
Yeah.
Because
Um.
because you're asking me about that incident or what
mm,
happened with the June and Paul show. It's just like, yeah, man, that's why I was whacked. Because the thing is, like, wasn't given a chance to voice my thing. Because I would have loved to have like gone online and do the episode and got my, you know,
And talk it out. Yeah.
my
Talk it
10
out.
cents in. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And talk
Yeah.
it out. It's like, well, this is from my perspective, right? Because here's the
Mm.
thing: that June and Paul show episode, Dean was the one who told me, hey, man, branch off. He was encouraging like branch off. I was like, because I know you want to start your own channel or whatever. It's just like branch off. It's like, hey,
So he didn't mention to you then. Oh, okay.
wait. So
Okay.
here's the thing. Like, so I was like, I'm good to go and appear in like a history of FMA
Mm.
episode. You're down with that and like all that those kinds of things with other channels. Like, yeah. I'm like, okay, cool. That June and Paul episode, I was playing a character, man. No different from that other guy who plays like Filipino minstrel show in our show. You get what I mean? That
Yeah.
motherfucking coon. The only thing that's missing with that guy is like tap dancing shoes and watermelon and fried chicken and shit. That's like the Filipino equivalent of that.
Mm-hmm.
He's okay with that, but he wasn't okay with me playing a character in that debate episode. Because the thing is, that's not my personal beliefs. That episode with June and Paul show was just basically like, oh, lineages. Is it okay to like give it to like non-family or non-family? What's your take? Blah blah blah. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I was playing a role. That's what I was assigned with. That's not how I really feel. You get what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I come from more of a background of Western martial arts, an equal part FMA and Western martial arts. I'm all for pressure testing. I come from a boxing background. I know Freddie Roach, man. I was trained by his brother.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the thing is like they gave me like the traditionalist perspective, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which I understand because they were trying to like make it lively, right?
It's all about like attracting viewers. Yeah. It's all about
Exactly.
Like,
So it
yeah.
was like, hey, they were saying like, act it up. I was like, all right, cool, I'll do that. Like, that's not how I really feel.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily how I really feel
So,
about
so
the thing.
let me stop you there though. So you felt like kind of like, I guess what you're trying to say is like you felt kind of set up by the whole thing. Like you were kind of just put there to fail rather
Well,
to
here's the thing.
succeed.
It wasn't June and Paul who set me up
Yeah. Yeah.
because they were trying to find truth in FMA. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? While doing it in a comedic way. Because like, you ever watch this show? You notice like they'll laugh a minute. They're always
Yeah.
laughing every like 8 seconds because they're very happy people.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Drew and Paul are very happy people, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I kind of get that perspective on like, hey, do you give it to like family or do you give it to like your uke who has been training with you for like 20 years, whatever? I can kind of get that. I also kind of get the perspective of there's no obviously you can't patent anything, right? You know what I mean? Because like no race has ownership on human movement, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the point of that thing is sometimes what you see in some systems is they learn that from the grandmaster and then they claim it as their own and then they copy the curriculum exactly the same and call it like, no, I invented this.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, damn, like then the Filipino guy back in the islands, he is at a loss and he's at a disadvantage because that dude don't necessarily have internet that's really quick. He can't do no distance learning, and if he's like on a barrio in the middle of nowhere with like less than 756 kbps for his internet, you get what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
So there is a valid perspective on that, and that's the reason why I agreed to that episode because the thing is, because yeah, I get that
So,
sense.
so what you're saying is like, from what it sounded to me, you had the best intentions to go in and it was kind
I
of
did,
narrative
and you
spin
know what
that.
happened, and you know what
Yeah.
happened. That minstrel show cool motherfucker made like a viral hit piece video on me. you know. And I don't fault him because I understand that guy probably doesn't like me because maybe I hurt him for doing that list.
Mhm.
I didn't hate him prior to him doing that. I had no ill will towards
Mhm.
him, and
Mhm.
actually, I'm not mad at him until to this day. I'm pissed off because I told Dean, "Is like Dean, are you gonna pay attention to that video, which is actually intended to be a viral hit piece, a hit on me, you know, my character, my personhood, or are you just gonna watch the episode without his commentary? Why don't you just watch the actual episode without his commentary
So
and
in
see
other
how
words,
you?"
it's more of a knee jerk reaction. It sounds like,
Heck yeah, it
rather
was,
than
man.
taking the whole thing in and kind of observing it and seeing for what it was. It was like a knee
And
jerk
here's the thing:
reaction.
if you actually watch that video in the
Yeah, I've seen it.
beginning, in the beginning of that episode, they even state that he was like, he's just playing a role. We are all playing a role here. This is not how we really feel. We got black and white students too, bro. Like, you know what I mean? So that's not how we
So,
feel.
so it was kind of like you felt it was kind of like somebody spun it out of control.
Well, here's the thing, and they even mentioned that at the end of the episode as
Mhm.
well. Like he was like,
Mhm.
"Hey, man, we wrote this is not how we really feel. We assigned
Yeah.
different people with different things, right?"
Mhm.
And no, that's not what Dean took from it, man. That's not what he took.
He felt,
What he
yeah, he did. From what I gather, he felt offended by it, and his thing was to basically ask you to leave, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
essentially. And here's the thing, that opened my eyes a lot about the FMA community too, because like
Mhm.
motherfuckers, like I was getting like messages at like 3 a.m. in the morning or whatever,
Mhm.
death threats from like Europe, and it's just like, motherfucker, I don't even know you.
God
Like, you know what I
damn.
mean?
Fucking hit list and shit over there.
Yeah.
Mafiosos coming after
No,
you and
no,
shit.
no. It was like I don't even know you, man. It was just he was just
Mhm.
like, I mean,
Yeah.
okay, cool, like you know,
Well,
whatever.
so after you had left, we talked about, and you don't have to get into this. This is your personal business, but we talked about it took a real mental toll on you because it really hurt you because you felt that you kind of didn't have the closure that you wanted um, on the show, that you kind of you kind of felt you was kind of abruptly just taken out. So it really hurt, it really hurt you. And this isn't to gain sympathy and like, oh, poor Julius, whatever. But it really did, and really, it really took a toll on your mental health because I know you were passionate about the show when you first came on, and a lot of things. I know sometimes there were some ideas, and you had that maybe were kind of like maybe some other of us were kind of looking at and being like, well, maybe we kind of don't agree with that, but we would talk it out. You know what I mean? But like you said, ultimately, it's one person's show. Just like if you were a moderator on my show here and you start telling me, hey, this, that, I would be like, hey, man, this is my show. Like, like not fall in line. I'll listen to you. But yeah, I understand. I completely, now I'm on the other side of the coin. I see exactly how to do it. So Eric O'Brien's question, he asked you if you had to do the episode again, would you do it over?
Fuck yeah, I would, because it gave me the truth. Yeah, because it showed me where I was at. It showed me like the real character of different people throughout FMA.
So
'Cause
yeah.
y'all didn't see the brouhaha behind the scenes out that. It's not just an FMA discussion. There was like elders of the FMA community that reached out, and none of
Mhm.
those motherfuckers defended me. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
There's a bunch of fucking bitches in there, man. Like, yeah,
in
yeah.
Tagalog parlance, umurong yung mga bayag nila, like they fucking lost their balls and shit. And that's not my word. It's like a FMA guy, one dude that
Mhm.
I train a system with him, and he's kind of famous. I don't want to name him, but he
Mhm.
does it
Yeah,
with his
don't name drop
brother.
here.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
He does it with his
yeah.
brother. And then he was just like, "Yeah, I was the only one defending you, blah blah blah." And it's just like, they was gonna talk. I was like,
Dude,
"Well,
there's so many fucking
bitches,
bitches and
bitches."
fags in here. Jesus
Particularly
Christ.
these elders, man. It's just like they cunts, bro. It's like, like, you got a
Yeah.
dick or a pussy, bro.
Well,
But
it's not so much.
they had a meeting, and they were
Yeah.
gonna address about that. He's like, "Hey, Julius is just playing a role, or whatever." It's like, no, because you know what they're afraid of? Because they're afraid of because the other guy got a lot of followers. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
They don't want to look bad, because they make money out of this.
So, so
That's this part of their livelihood. MMA is not part of my livelihood, bro. I got a regular 9 to 5. I work two
yeah, yeah,
jobs.
yeah,
You know what
yeah,
I'm saying?
exactly. Just like I tell motherfuckers on the show here, like this isn't. I do this for fun. I don't give a fuck if one person watches. I don't give a fuck if I make millions.
That's exactly what it is, man.
Dude, it's like it's not that. And doing this episode, there's gonna be a bunch of motherfuckers out there, bunch of twats out there, are gonna be like, well, he's just doing it to fucking cry and fucking and get fucking views and likes and people follow his channel. Dude, this isn't the fucking intention. The intention is to just reflect on the experiences. If you're going to be a fucking dickweed and try to read too much into it, that's your fucking problem. You know what I mean? Yeah, they're being a bitch. That's right. They're being a fucking bitch. You're right. And there's a lot of them in there. And that's why I kind of, okay, so I don't want to go too much into it because I could tell, like we've kind of, I think we've got enough to see what happened when you left. And I think we don't need to go any further than that. But unless you want to tell more, but
I do want to tell more. Yeah.
okay, sorry.
Yeah. No.
Fuck me. I was just like, this moment's right now. Like, oh. Okay, go ahead, man. Go ahead. I'm sorry to cut you off, dude.
I do want to
Go ahead,
tell
man.
more,
Go
man.
ahead.
Because the thing is, like, yeah, maybe he wanted me out of there from the beginning. That was just a good excuse. You know what I'm saying? And that's cool. Because I honestly, man, I was thinking of leaving prior to that with June and Paul episode. I wanted to leave like a month or two before because I didn't like where it was going, honestly.
So you kind of have the same perspective I felt. So I don't want to make it all about me, but I just cut you off. But so like me, like I don't say around the same time frame that happened, I was still kind of gung ho, you know what I mean? Like fuck yeah, No, I was ready to, whatever. But like it started waning the year after that. It's not even a venting, man, or a rant. It's more telling our experiences on the show. But not really ranting as much as whatever. But I mean, if people take it that way, so fucking be it. I don't care. But anyway, it just started getting sour for me the year after. But during that time when you had left, I was still very much G.I. Joe, gung fucking ho, FMA-Discussion. You know what I mean? I think we were doing a lot of good. I mean, it's just like at that time, it's like I knew there was nothing I could do about it to bring you back on the show. So it's kind of like, whatever, if he leaves, like nothing I can do about it.
And here's the thing: don't get it twisted, man. My differences is with him, with the head honcho. I always like you and Tom. I respect you because you're an airman, and I used to be a contractor working in different bases. Being like a lineman for doing internet installs for officers and enlisted, right? And I always have respect with you and Tuhon Arlene, because the veterans in our community, and you are airmen. I have no problem with you and Guru Tom. My thing is my grievances was just like, man, they didn't hear my side, man. Because every time I would type that when I would message him, he was like, well, why'd you have to say this? I'm like, don't pay attention to that video, that viral hit piece. Actually watch what we said. Like,
knee-jerk reaction, yeah.
And the thing is, like, I'm loyal to this fool. And you know what he said during the follow-up episodes? He made like 2 or 3 follow-up episodes after that debate I had with June and Paul. He said, I never asked you to be loyal to me.
Yeah, after the fact, right? Yeah. Well, we're not going to get into
this. I want to know. This is what I want to know about that. Okay, cool. Then why'd you tell Brian what you just told him? He's just like, did you see what Julius did to me? He betrayed me. Well, hold on a second, bro. You just told me, like, in that episode with the minstrel show guy that you never asked me to be loyal. But then you tell what did he tell you? What did he tell you about me? He's like, look what JV did to me or whatever, right? Yeah. It's like there's no consistency, man. And I wanted a clean break. I gave up FMA for like a good. So it's almost been 2 years. It's almost been 2 years since that event, and I was deeply hurt by it, bro.
Yeah, but for me, like, I want to thank you, for showing that. Talking about that. For me, it was kind of like, yeah, the whole loyalty thing was like, like I'm loyal, a pretty loyal guy. One thing I don't like is, I know I saw Michael was saying that this was a rant. It's not really a rant, it's just kind of just telling experiences. A rant is me talking the whole fucking time, like, but anyway, for me, it's just like the loyalty thing was, I was loyal to the show. But then a couple of years afterwards, I started seeing things I didn't like. And we're just kind of like, it was going somewhere I didn't want, like for it to go. You know what I mean? I felt less and less inclusive into things. There was meetings with Tom and Dean that we're having, and I was like, wasn't included in some of them. I would hear from other people. Most of the time I was included in them, but it's just like, when I would say something, it was like, yeah, okay, like we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. Like, well, fuck, my opinion doesn't mean anything. Like, I don't count or what? So I started feeling less inclusive in the later years, towards the end of the show. At that point, my decision was really starting to become evident that I wanted to do my own thing. And it was just like, I was always told, if you want to take a break, take a break. But it was like, I don't want to take a break. If I take a break, I'm not going to come back. You know what I mean? It's kind of like you go do a job. So at that point, towards this last year, I really didn't like the way the show was going. We're having the same fucking people on over and over and over again. When I was mentioning people on there, it was kind of like, well, you do the legwork to get them, but I'm not going to be included in them. You just do the show. It's like, well, I thought we're a team. Like, we all agree on who's going to be on the show. But it was more like, you do the legwork, you get them on, they're your guests. What do you call it? Your problem, pretty much. That's what I felt like. It's just that I felt like, we were getting too political towards the ends. We're taking sides for people, which I didn't like. We're supposed to be neutral, but yet we were taking sides for certain people, which is kind of fucked up and bullshit. And I was just like, man, fuck this. I don't want to do this shit no more. So I'm just kind of like, less and less becoming involved. During the interviews, my name, towards the end of interviews, it was never like, well, upcoming, I was kind of getting snubbed at the end. When interviews were coming up the next day, my name was even mentioned, like, hey, Brian's having an interview tomorrow. I mean, and it just kind of like, the decision, like, eventually, we want to change, certain things, and like, they weren't playing like certain things on there that, like we all agree to. We always change the narrative afterwards. The thing with my son playing the guitar, whatever, I mean, I'm grateful for that. He allowed him to do that, so thank you for that. But towards the end, it was just like, I just didn't feel like part of the group anymore. And it was just kind of like, I felt like a lot of things I would say weren't being heard. And I would express that. And it would, hello, girls. Anyway, somebody put a comment there. So my decision to leave was like, okay, I'm going to leave, like, fuck it, I'm going to do this. I mean, I kind of hesitated. Like, I did my research, like, let me find somebody else. And I asked a couple people, and people were like, well, I don't know if I want to do it. So I intended fully to do both double duty. So I was going to do, like, at the end I wanted to leave, and I was like, fuck, I guess do double duty until they find somebody else. And then an incident happened where I made a comment, and I was told that I was very unprofessional. Don't ever say that again. It looks bad. It reflects bad. And I was like, wait a minute. I'm a grown-ass man, and you can't tell me what to fucking say. So for me, it was kind of like, it's that you're not going to control me. You're not going to tell me what the fuck to say, what I can't say, and it kind of started going south after that. If you know that Dean actually came here to train me in person.
So I didn't know that. I didn't know that a bit until recently. So I want you to tell that story.
Actually, so I actually met him in person, and we talked. We trained. I'm not going to go into details of what happened when he was here, as far as our training and stuff like that. But anyway, after that had left, I felt that something had happened. Maybe there was something that happened that kind of seemed like a relationship kind of changed, as far as like with the show, and I was being called in, like, do you want to leave? Do you want to leave? You want to take a break? It was almost like kind of like you, like, So when a decision was made for me to actually branch off and do my own thing, I didn't check in with the boss, so to speak. And that's where it all fell apart. So not checking in with him as far as leaving is where I think everything had fell apart with our relationship wise and other things. I had said, I think it's better if I leave FMA-Discussion, and he was, telling me like, oh, you don't have to leave. You can stay if you want to, like, not as a member, but not a moderator. I was asked to leave as a moderator, which I think was retribution for me making my own show. Well, the thing is I felt that, not checking in with him was what made it really kind of upset him. That I made it public before I checked in with him, which I don't know what the fuck the difference is. It doesn't really matter. If you're gonna leave, you're gonna leave. No one's my boss. I don't work for him. So I think that's where it went south. It was kind of like, well, how dare you leave without telling me? You made me look like an asshole because you left. Now I'm gonna get all these questions about why you're leaving. what happened, and I think what happens, people kind of blasted him with questions like, why did Brian leave? Even to this day I get questions. So that's why I wanted to come on here and say, what happened. So by leaving, I was, basically, asked to be removed as a moderator, which after all the work I had done, I felt, I was going to leave anyway, but I felt like I was slapped in the face. Not only was I asked to leave as a moderator, I was asked to leave as a student, which I think was really the biggest slap in the face. After all the loyalty and years I'd had as being a student, helping out, what do the two things have to do with each other? Asking to be a moderator is one thing, but then when you've done nothing wrong and you've been asked to be removed as a student because you said a bad word and you're too vocal and you kind of left on your own without telling me. So it's basically like, fuck you, you're out of here. I don't want to be your friend. I don't want to be your student. I don't want to be your teacher or whatever. That's what really upset me. So that was kind of like the icing on the cake, where I was kind of like, you know what, fuck this. I don't need you. I don't need this shit. I'm better off I was on. So
I got a question. I got a question because y'all met up. You fed this dude your food. He saw your wife and family. Yeah. Damn, man, that's cold, brother.
No, and it was a a pleasant experience when he was here. We had fun. We had barbecue. And I really don't see where when I left, I was like, man, I got to train with him in person, and it was good. I got rank and everything, and we did testing, and it was good. We had a good time. And then going back, it's like it seemed like things changed. When I made that little comment. So the comment I made was something sucks cocks. I believe it was a comment that I put on there, and I was told that was unprofessional. It didn't look good. Like, do I work for a fucking company? It's like, what the fuck? Nobody else is saying that except for you. It's like, okay, I don't give a fuck about anybody else. It's like, this is a fucking black belt theater. Was it the fucking was it the Shaolin?
Yeah. Shaolin Thunder.
You're loyal to Grandmaster. You know what I mean? You fucking. It was like, don't ever say that. You get beaten like Kill Bill Pai Mei and shit.
Yeah.
Fucking snatching eyeballs out. So it was kind of like, like, wow. I was like, don't ever say that again. I'm like, dude, first of all, like, don't control me. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not. It's not the intent to control. Which, if you look at it inadvertently, it is the attempt to be like, hey, don't fucking say that. You know what I mean? You're making me look bad.
Was he awkward to you and your family after that? Was he acting like all awkward?
I don't really want to get into that. That's not really part of the thing. But what I'm saying is that I think what all fell apart was like there was a certain amount of not control, because I was always allowed to train with other people. I want to make that apparently clear. I was never told I can't train with anybody else. I was never told that I can't train other systems. He was like, he's always telling me, like, if you want to train with somebody else, by all means, go ahead. So there was never any control factor. But the thing is that I think he felt insulted because I didn't check with him first to tell him I was going to leave. So it's like, how dare you fucking leave without telling me? You're just fucking leaving. Well, I was going to tell him. I was going to bounce out. I'm like, oh, fucking fuck you. Bye. I'm out of here. I was going to tell him afterwards, after I, made a public, I think, and actually I didn't even tell anybody. I just made a comment, and somebody read the comment and said, oh, so you're leaving? And I was like, yeah, I'm doing my own show. It was just a comment that was made on somebody's wall. I forgot who it was. And boy, man, I got blasted for it. I got fucking double shot there and fucking buckshot. I got blasted for it. How dare you leave, without telling me? You should came to me first, which I don't see what was bad about that. I really don't see what was bad about me trying to better myself, and do something, like I always said, if you don't like something, just go out and do your own shit. And I think somebody had mentioned a while back, like, I had the right idea. If you don't like something, you don't like the way it is, change it. Don't bitch about it. Just leave. And that's what I did. I didn't like the way the show was going. I didn't feel very validated on the show. And
here's the thing. That's why I'm kind of glad that I wasn't given a voice to do like episode to defend myself, because it's just like that's gonna be a poison pill to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be able to have my voice in there. That's why I dropped it. Like you notice, it's like I've been absent online for like great deal of.
And I've kind of been doing the same thing after that happened. I mean, I just been concentrating on my show. Like people are like, "Oh, it's I don't give a fuck what goes on that show. I'm not on a show anymore." do whatever you want. Have it when the fuck you want.
And
Talk
so
about what
that's
you
how I
want.
gotta ask you the inevitable, because you know
Yeah.
they're gonna say, "Hey, looking for like 5 minutes of fame or whatever the fuck." You know
No
what I mean?
over validating your contributions.
Whatever, whatever.
You
I
seem
already
more
know, I
important
already
than
know there's gonna be a
more.
rebuttal episode on this.
Oh, I don't care. Whatever. Give a fuck.
Yeah, exactly. So here's the
As
thing.
far as I'm concerned, after the show's done, it's buried and over with already. Unless there's some kind of shit, where it's calling my family or my character.
Are you
Then that's
prepared for that? Are you prepared for that if they hit you with that?
I don't give a fuck. You want to come see me? Go. I'll give my address. I'm not one of the guys to be a keyboard warrior. But what I'm saying is, so going back to the thing, I want to get off topic here. So, like I said, I felt like nothing was done wrong, but I didn't have a problem. Like, okay, you want to remove me as moderator? I'm already leaving anyway. But then, take it a step further and say, I can't teach you anymore. I can't be a student anymore, because you got a shitty attitude. I don't like you. After all that many years of training, and it's like, really, we're at this point now where you're going to ask me to leave, not just, be leave as a moderator, which would totally be fine. If he came to me and said, I'll be a moderator, okay, I already plan on leaving anyway, cool. But I'll see you on Saturday, 8:00. We're still gonna train. Cool. Good to go. Then we're good. We're good. But then, like they said, and I think, well, I think I know what's going on. Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, you fucking slapped me in the fucking face, by telling me I'm not gonna teach you anymore, I mean, and this and that, and I'm not gonna, moderator, we're done. Like, our relationship is done. It's like, and like you said, you come in somebody's house, you have a good time, just like I invited you. If you came to my home and later on, I tell you go fuck yourself afterwards, you're gonna be like, wait a minute, like, you just invited me, like, like what's up with this? You know what I mean? So I think that was the slap in the face, but I've moved on from it. I've seen, I have another instructor now, which I think I'm not gonna pit who's better instructor. I don't do that kind of shit. Because in reality, Dean does have a lot of great stuff. His blade system stuff is good stuff. It's a good system. The stuff he teaches, his teaching style is very good. I mean, it's just that to throw away that many years as a student friend, like it's nothing, is like the thing that threw me off. But like I said, I've moved on from it. I've kind of just like wanted to, I guess people would say, ran or vents or whatever, to put this to rest, because this has been going on and I kind of wanted to get out and let people know. People can form their own opinions about, well, Brian's lying, I heard this from somebody. I don't give a fuck what you say or what the fuck you think. You weren't there. You listen to secondhand information. Who gives a fuck what you think? You know what I mean? So it was basically, people have been asking, and I wanted to do this, let's come out and say it.
You know what's wacko about it?
Yeah.
Now they see like the show is like some type of like arbiter of truth for like the community, when in fact the original intention was just to make it into an archive that will last the history of FMA, right?
Yeah, this
long
whole
after.
thing of trying to bring systems together and let's talk about this guy and bring these two groups together. In my personal opinion, that's none of my fucking business. I'm never going to do that in this show. If some groups are arguing, it's none of my I'm going to put my dick out of it. My dick doesn't need to be inserted in that fucking.
Well, but here's the thing.
I'm out of it.
They see it that as some type of authority, but they weren't with us. They weren't with us in those interview rooms when certain motherfuckers were bad mouthing all the time.
Yeah, and nobody's ever going to know, and I'm not going to ever tell what all went on, what I seen, or whatever they get. This wasn't the intent of this thing. Like, well, I saw this and this, and I saw this and that. This wasn't the intent of the show.
But here's the thing, Brian. I know you and I took receipts, and if anything should happen to me, I got a dead man switch 256-bit encryption, and that's all coming out. You feel me?
Yeah, you gotta do what you gotta do, man. Like I was saying, for me, it was like, I'm never gonna do that, and I thought the show took a different direction. When now it's been more like, we're gonna bring these people together. It's like two fucking the Hatfields and McCoys. Like, these motherfuckers are never gonna get along, right? They
Exactly.
hate each other, right?
Exactly.
So why in the fuck do I need to insert my fucking dick in that fucking dirty pussy? Excuse my language. Sorry. And try to fucking, ramrod it in there and try to fucking make a baby, some fucking bastard child, hybrid thing to bring something in to bring two people together. Or, some guy fucking cheats on his wife. He's fucking all kinds of hoes out there, and he comes home and, you guys should really kiss and make up. That's none of my fucking business, dude. It's none of my fucking business. It's not my business. I'll never do on this fucking show. But I felt that we start doing that afterwards. Like, who the fuck are we to go on there and try to tell people how to live their lives and what, kiss and make up?
I was gone long after that, but I understand, and the opposite sometimes. Sometimes there's some posts that will be approved and will cause division among systems, and he won't do nothing about it. You know what I mean? Because it's one of his boys. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, I guess it felt like, like I'm not gonna. I start seeing that, and I'm like, man, I'm not about this shit. Like, I just came on, like you said, I signed up to come on here and help, maybe archive, maybe have some fun, and now we're fucking getting into the realm of fucking kumbaya, motherfuckers sitting by the fire and shit. Like, nah, man, I'm not doing that shit. That's why when I made this show, I was like, we're gonna have honest discussions, raw and unfiltered, just like we're doing tonight. But I'm never gonna be like, hey, man, you should go talk to this fucking guy who fucking ripped you off for money or fucked your wife. You should make up with them now. It's been 20 years now. Let's get together and let's kiss and make up. Fuck that. If you hate that motherfucker, you hate him. I'm not gonna be trying to bring you together. That's none of my business. My thing here is to have a discussion, have a couple beers, have fun. You know what I mean? So I know there's gonna be people watching the episode tonight, running to Dean, telling Dean, and I know he's gonna see this episode, and I don't care. Like I said, it's just this thing was put together.
Hey, bro, he's got a convicted sex offender as one of his episodes. Who is he to talk to us, bro? You know what I'm saying? Fuck that shit. You know what
I don't
mean?
know anything about that, but okay.
No, he was approached long before that, brother, and he was cool with that. So hey, man, that's all on you.
Yeah.
Well,
there'll never be those on here, but I can assure you that. But I guess kind of like I guess, like I said, I felt I needed to better myself. I wanted to do my own thing. And the whole thing of let's not use bad words. It doesn't look professional. We became like a goody two shoes group, which is cool. You know what I mean? But people want the pulp, man. People like pulp, right? Like, the old gritty fucking old pulp. The old fucking pulp comic books.
Fuck yeah,
gritty, raw fucking shit. Fucking cussing, fucking raw conversation. Not afraid to go there. That's what people want, you know what I mean? And that's why I made this show with Coach Kurt, because we wanted to have raw and unfiltered, candid conversations. We didn't want to have scripts and try to feed people. You need to say this when you come on the show, right? And this, that, you know what I mean? And even me and you, we talked about, it's good to have some kind of boundaries. We don't do hate speech. We don't do death threats. We don't do name drops. That's our thing for the show. But everything else is not off limits. Everything else is not taboo. Go and say anything else you want. But I felt that the show was kind of getting, a little bit too much kumbaya at the end. You know what I mean? It's just, I don't want anger and shit like that, like in despair and arguing. But I felt that we were doing too much fucking therapy sessions, and trying to get people together. And then it was becoming more politicized, even now.
And you know what? Honestly, between you and us, that was one of the mistakes I made with the channel, because I would try to get I introduced that idea about.
So you're the guy.
No, not me. It was the potluck. We were supposed to have like a.
Oh, the Budo fight, yeah.
No, fuck that.
Yeah,
that ain't happening.
Yeah, I was approached to do. We actually talked about doing a cooking show.
Yeah, no, because I wanted to introduce food in it, because like FMA, a lot of has something to do with food. Usually, because when people train, they eat Filipino food after. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That was all. And but introducing the idea, that's a mistake. At least I'm willing to admit that.
Yeah, I just felt that leaving the show was a weight off my shoulders. Where I had internal. No one asked me to stay there, and I keep hearing it. Well, no one asked you to fucking stay. You could have left anytime you want. Well, I did, and look what happened. Right? Look what happens. My fucking dick was smashed in the dirt. I was lambasted for leaving and bettering myself. But like I said, I decided like I was asked to be removed as moderator. But I also left the show on my own accord, like as a member of the board, like a member of the group. Like I deleted myself as a member. I deleted all of FMA-Discussions. I'm no longer part of that group at all. I don't see what goes on there.
I'm
I don't
not
care.
here.
Don't give a fuck. It's always the same shit anyway. But I just kind of left. Like you said, I left FMA too. I was kind of like, I'm gonna leave FMA. I don't want to do it anymore. Left a bad taste in my mouth. So I've recently been focusing on combatives. I got a great instructor, Julian Masson from UK, from Adrenaline Combatives. Excellent fucking top-notch instructor. that dude has some good fucking shit. It's all realistic and probably some of the best training I've ever had. And that's why, I decided actually I was training with him when I was training with Dean. I was still training with Julian. I started training with him because I wanted to have a different set of skill sets. And I'm still a student of his now. Things I've noticed or things I've learned from being loyal to instructors is always, watch your back, no matter who they are, because you think you're your friend or you think that you're loyal to them, and then bam, you get your dick smacked in the dirt next day. So, but it's all for the best. We grow and we learn from our mistakes, and I've moved on. The whole training with him is gone now. It's no longer with him anymore. Under him, or training system he's in. I moved on to a different instructor. New chapter in my life. That chapter's closed and gone. Grateful for the training I got from him. Like I said, it was great training I got from him while it lasted, and not knocking it at all. Like I said, I'm not here saying anything about his instructorship or his teaching. He's a good teacher. He has some good material. But like I said, that chapter's closed now. Moved on to a different instructor, learning a whole wide set of skill sets, and it's been good. I've been happier, man. It's been like, it feels great. Just an hour session I get with him, great training. So maybe it was a blessing in disguise, but I think my time was gone. And I don't want to speculate. I know other moderators are on there. But I feel as the show goes on, you'll start to see a lot more moderators leave as the show goes on.
Well, did you hear that through the grapevine? That there's some people that are,
No, I didn't hear anything from the grapevine. I guess get a vibe and just some things I've seen in the past and over accumulated information that I see maybe people may be leaving. So I don't want to say like there's a pattern there. You see people that are loyal, and they get discarded. And don't get it twisted. We're not going to be the only ones that are going to be leaving. There will be more people leaving, and that's just my speculation. But I could see just because the way it's going now, it didn't waste no time after I left to replace me with another guy to fit the agenda or fit the narrative of like everything's cool. We got this guy coming on now. The thing that was pushed on the outside of the public was Brian's leaving on his own accord, but behind the scenes, there's a whole entire thing that was going on, and I was quickly replaced, which I believe you were as well. So it was kind of like, we can't lose that, doesn't look good in the public. Let's get these guys replaced. Let's get new guys in, new recruits in. Let's get, kind of like a company, right? When you leave a corporation, you're like, fuck this company, I'm leaving, man. Fuck these motherfuckers. They won't pay me no money or anything. I'm out of here, right? And then they're like, well, fuck you. We were just replacing you with somebody else that's going to come in and work cheaper. All right, we just hired this guy. You're out of here. It was kind of like that kind of deal. Which I'm not saying I'm not replaceable. Everybody's replaceable. I don't give a fuck who you are. Everybody is replaceable, just like a job. But it was like, damn, goddamn, fucking, I ain't even buried in the fucking dirt yet. I'm already been replaced. Which I don't give a fuck, whatever.
But it is a pattern, Brian, because it's like Ian Fleming wrote, right? Once is happenstance, two is coincidence, three is enemy action, and so we're here to tell y'all. I mean, hey man, just look at don't you see a pattern? Not just one guy.
And I think that's what I want people to see. Like, it's just like it's a pattern. It's not just people getting kicked out for being dickheads and rotten apples, which is being portrayed. Like, these guys are assholes. We're kicking them out. Angelo Garcia left. I think he felt that he wasn't as part of the group anymore either. He just kind of didn't have the interest anymore.
But that's my point. Don't y'all see a pattern?
Martin left for certain reasons. I'm not going to tell his story because he has his own personal reasons why he left, and he came back, and they left again, and he came back again. I don't know if he's still in the group or not. I don't know. I really don't talk to him much anymore. But yeah, they hired some fucking temps. What the fuck's the name of that thing? Workforce Connection? Workforce Connection. Yeah, there you go. So I guess what I want people to see, it's not just like, we kick these guys out for being assholes. There's a pattern there. And you're always gonna have people leave. But there was a pattern, and there's gonna be a pattern that's not gonna stop. You'll see more people leave as the show goes on. And I don't want to say it's not toxic leadership, as I would say, but it's more of like, you're gonna do things that they want you to do, and you kind of like, you can have some input in it. And it was always voted on before. And I want to make that clear. Like things were voted on, but it seems like sometimes when you kind of mention things, it was kind of like, yeah, we'll think about it, but we're gonna do this. You know what I mean? Like we like your idea, but we're gonna do this. Kind of like when you're in a job, you know what I mean? Yeah, I'll make a suggestion. I'll make this work go faster. Yeah, man, we'll take that into consideration, but we're gonna go ahead and do this, you know, because we want to do it this way. And that's what I felt like it was kind of like towards the end last year I was there. Kind of felt like, you know, like maybe it was getting stale too, having the same fucking, like I said, I'm ready to this again, same people over and over
Man,
again.
it's tactical discussion now.
Yeah, there's only so many fucking people you can interview, you know, right?
It's tactical discussion now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I'm sure it still serves a purpose for those people that are looking, and it did. And I don't want to discredit what he did because it was great what he did for the show. He did a lot of good things for the FMA community as far as like bringing that archive of having all these people on here. So I don't want to lambast it like it was, you know, it was just shit and it was horrible.
That's what I wanted, man. That's
yeah.
You know.
It started out that way. But just like the last year or so, it's just, man, the show's taking a different turn, and it's kind of like not almost dark, but it's like it's not what the original vision was intended.
Here's the thing, bro. I think that happens. I don't want to blame him for that. I think it's
no, I'm not blaming him for that either. I think
I think it's the environment of kind of social media.
Mm-hmm.
Because the thing is, like, once it's kind of like you get indoctrinated, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Where the thing is, like, now you're chasing click, you know what I mean? Now chasing, you know, clout and followers and likes, and I get that, you know. I mean, here's the thing: no one's immune to that. That's why I left, like, yeah, because I was a part of early YouTube. I did a lot of like science content. I sold that stuff, that some of those videos you see in like different TV shows. So they interviewed a bunch of physicists.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I just I feel that at the time, you know, like it went in with the best intentions, and it was good. It was good. Don't be wrong. We had a lot of good people on there, and I met a lot of people through there, and some people I'm still friends with. Some people turn out to be fucking snakes in the grass, and I've recently found that out. You know, they've been friends, and you know, they were sitting there, you know, come on over there, you know, talking, you know, hey, we're sucking dick on the thing. Hey man, you're cool, dude. Hey, dude. You know, and then they're going over there like, hey man, you so good. Beat a bunch of fucking being twats. You know, being fucking twats. And I had to boot their ass off my page. Like, you're not gonna come on here and fucking be two-sided chicken head motherfucker. Come on my page and go on there and fucking, hey man, he said this, he said that. Fuck that shit. And I found out about these rat motherfuckers, and I got them off my page. There's probably still some lurking around and watching right now. You know what I mean? A bunch of rat motherfuckers watching right now. You know, I'm not saying everybody is.
Well, after this episode, I have no intention. I'm gonna drop off for like another 2 years again.
Yeah.
Then don't come back. Like, you know, I'll do my life. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm not really interested in, like, you know, and here's the thing: when you start bringing other people that aren't involved in what the situation is, as far as I'm concerned, this is between three of us, right? This was the three of us. Like, no, when we start bringing motherfuckers that don't even belong, and you start bringing them in, like, come on, man, I need to back up. You're my boy, man. Back me up on this shit. It's like, man, fucking, you know, like, if you weren't involved in it, stay the fuck out of it. You know, stay the fuck out of it. You don't come in here and start fucking putting your fucking dick in. You know, fucking trying to act like you know what's going on, putting your fucking opinion.
I mean, he does have he's fanboys now, so that's understandable. It's understandable.
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of dick riders out there. There are a lot of dick riders out there, and you know, but then when you have this conversation between three men, you keep it between the three. If you don't know what's going on, it's like with your situation with that June and Paul shows thing. I didn't know what was going on because I was never told everything. That's why I wanted you to tell the story. I'm not going to come on here and say, well, this happened to Julius, and he got fucked over and he got wronged. People want to hear it from your mouth. Just like you don't know what happened.
Looking back, and I gotta address this in this episode, man. I gotta thank the two of them. It made it out where, like, the message I got from the group, from, you know, when I was in FMA-Discussion is, I was set up like by June and Paul, or June and Paul had like an agenda. Nah, man, I have to thank the two of them actually, because they made me see the truth.
Yeah,
they shone a light to how he really was.
It actually bettered you because
it really did. Because the thing is, man, can you imagine if I'm still in there, dude? Like, I don't know how my mental health would be, man. I'm glad I'm gone.
Fucking mental case. Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
Eric's right, man. He did give, and I already said that already. Yeah, I said that in here. Like I said, he did give a voice to people that nobody ever heard of. So I did praise him for that in here, and I did say that that was good. But like I said, that this episode, was going to be all about the good things. We always had to have the dark too, as well. We try to be fair.
Don't get me wrong. Like at
Yeah.
first I really thought he did a great service to community, and then that's a really good archive of like people will look at that in the future, and it's a record. It's like
great.
an FMA
It's
library.
great. It's great. Even now with some of the political bullshit that's going on there, with the whatever, trying to bring people together, whatever. It's still an archive of people that are on there. But lately, I've been seeing the same faces over and over and over and over again. And it's getting a little stale. I think, in my personal opinion, I think the show is about ran its course. This is my personal opinion, so everybody can blast me afterwards. You know what the fuck you're talking about? You're a fucking hater. I think the show personally has ran its course. I think they've interviewed pretty much everybody already they can. I mean, there's some people out there that maybe no one's heard of, whatever. But we keep seeing the same faces over and over and over again. That was something that he liked to do, is rotating the same people over. Let's get those big names, to generate views and likes, over and over again. You're not going to really see that in my show because I like to get new people on. Maybe I'll bring them on later on down the line, but you're not going to see them the following fucking week. In other words, I'm interviewing you today, but I'm not going to fucking, no offense, I'm not going to see your fucking face next week because I'm not going to have you on the show again next week. Because this, we're going to have you later on down the line. But I like to keep it fresh and keep people, involved in the show. When you start doing the same,
I'm dropping off social media, after this, and just concentrating on my work. And if I get invited to whatever Comic Con again, and then I'll panel again. You know what I mean? So
in retrospect of the whole thing, if I had to do it over again, would I do it? Yes, I would. I just would hope that the show would go in a different direction than it was now. But like I said, I feel that the show is kind of running its end course already. I think that it's coming to its life's end already. The archive is always going to be there, which is great for the community. And he did a great thing for the community by doing it. And we all did. I don't want to say just him. We all did. We all did a great. You did. I did. Guro Tom did. Everybody did a great job.
And hey, we got to hand it to Martin. That takes a lot of patience to do those timestamp, man. Be the timestamp guy. Hot dang.
Yeah. And like I said, he had you on. Yeah, he did have me on. Of course he had me on. I wasn't the fucking moderator of the show. We had talked about that a long time ago. But like I said, that's not the point of what I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to say is I feel the show, like I said, as Ron. Okay, I'm sorry. Let me read some comments. I don't want to be rude to you. That said, oh, okay, cool. All right, sorry, dude, misunderstood. Okay, he's talking to you, Paul. Brian Jr. think it started out to show at the mark on YouTube. You talk about the show kind of like stalling out. Is that what you meant, Guro Paul? I'm waiting for him to respond. Okay, here's the thing. Okay, I feel that there was a certain amount of ego involved now too. I think that before we were all unknowns. I mean, even Dean wasn't really well known when the show first started, right? I mean, let's be honest. I mean, a couple of people might have known him East Coast, but I never really had heard of him. No, I don't think people never heard of him. But yeah, the show is definitely it's definitely moving in a different direction. So the show all gave us kind of like a little 5 seconds of fame to be on, right? Right. So, I just feel that now that's kind of stalling out. I've been seeing him in a lot more shows. I think maybe he feels that he's reiterated in the past that he wants to end it soon. I feel that, just from talking to him personally, that the show has taken a toll on him, like, mentally, family-wise, it's taken a toll on him, just like all the people messaging him, complaining about stuff, different systems. But a lot of that was self-brought on too. When you start taking every motherfucker's things in, you start taking everybody's burdens in, right? You bring that upon yourself. Like if I had a bunch of motherfuckers tell me, man, my fucking wife's leaving me, man, my system's disintegrating, and I'm like, okay, dude, I'm your shoulder to cry on, but it's my fault because I'm allowing you to come cry on my shoulder, right? So I have no one to blame but myself. And I feel a lot of that was self-inflicted on him because he's taken all that burden in, right? And he's kind of like, he's such the nice guy, right? That people see him as that, he's wants to be there for everybody, which, I could never say that, well, up until now, before he was always there for me. When I needed him to talk about system stuff, martial arts stuff, he was always there when I needed to call him or text him. And I want to make that apparently clear on the show that he was always available for me to call him in there. But like I said, eventually maybe stuff runs its course. So maybe, he had removed me as a student because maybe he felt that wasn't working anymore or whatever. I certainly didn't see a problem with it. I was ready to roll, but maybe he saw it differently, and that's his fucking prerogative, right? He's a teacher, whatever. But I did feel that was the direct correlation to me leaving the show. And, he could, people were saying, like, whoa, I know what that's about now. That's why he did the show. He's hurt because he got removed. Well, of course I fucking was, wasn't really hurt. I was annoyed because then like, here I am, doing all this shit. And, then I get fucking dick slapped. You know what I mean? But like I said, I've moved on now, but the initial thing is still there. And I wanted people to know, the initial reasons for leaving the show. So now people know there's no more DM questions like I was getting. What happened? What happened? Now you know why. It's all archived now. You can watch it on YouTube, you can watch it, whatever.
And to answer is like, would I ever got involved in the show to begin with? Nah, I wouldn't have. And then to answer again, do I regret ever going to the June and Paul show? No, I don't. It gave me the truth. I owe those guys. There might be some things I don't agree with them personally about different views, but I owe them.
And I have to admit, in the beginning, I'm gonna be a man and come out, and I'm not gonna be a bitch. I'm gonna be a man and come out and say it. In the beginning, when that show, I did have the first knee-jerk reaction, like, what the fuck, what, I mean, the first maybe day, I was like, what the fuck's going on? I mean, I was kind of like, man. But then I watched the show and I saw it, and I was like, wait a minute, like, what the fuck? Like, I got something in the face, like, oh, now I get it. But I want to come on and publicly say to you and everybody on there, I did get a knee-jerk reaction when I first saw it because I was on the Dean train, right? He was my instructor. I was kind of like, it is. You kind of get like, what the fuck?
I understand.
I want to be a man who want to admit that here and tell you that.
No, I understand because I read one of your comments in discussion. It's like, is he hitting me and Dean? I saw that.
Yeah.
And no, man, I get it. But all I told people is, actually watch the episode and not the viral hit piece that was done to disparage us and to make us look bad. So I owe June and Paul.
Yeah.
I might not agree with them with everything.
Yeah.
I might have some differences with them. I'm thankful that happened, man, because it basically blew a flashbang in my face, and I was like, wow, now I see the light. Wow, I need to get out of here. You know what I mean?
Eric put Julius, if it was a stupid premise, and I wouldn't have done it.
Well, that's you. Cool.
Guro Paul put Eric, I went on the show under the June and Paul show. I'm dyslexic. I'm reading backwards, moving to a different direction. Yeah, we never had an agenda. And Guro Paul, like I said, I had it. I'm going to be a man admitted. I had a knee-jerk reaction when I first saw it. But then after watching the episode, I kind of like, what the fuck? It's not that bad. It wasn't like that big of a deal. But at least I'm man enough to admit it. I'm not going to fucking be like, keep it quiet. I'm going to admit it. I first saw it. But now it's like in the past now. But like when I first saw it, now I see after seeing everything, it's kind of like, okay, no, I get it, whatever. But it all goes back to the freedom of speech thing. Just like we're doing the show tonight. Everybody's allowed to say what they got to say. If there's a rebuttal video, they're allowed to say I'm a fucking dickhead and grateful cocksucker.
Yeah, absolutely.
It doesn't matter.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's your right.
Give them a voice, though.
Why I served in the fucking military and got deployed and shit, right? Is because to give people rights to fucking say shit like that.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Go fucking sit in the fucking shithole sandbox out there for you to say that fucking thing that you want to say about me, whatever. So I take no offense to it. Unless you start getting personal and attacking family, or start like fucking saying things aren't true, whatever. Whatever. I don't want this to be a he said, she said kind of shit. I think a lot of people know me already, and they know I don't lie, and they know I'm a pretty straightforward, neutral guy. My characters, I'm a very neutral guy. I'm very quiet, laid back. You don't see me go on forums to say this guy's take sides, like, oh, fuck you, man. Don't talk, fuck you. And hey, this system sucks. I agree with you. I'm not that kind of guy. I'm kind of laid back and I stay neutral. So if I say fucking something, it's 99.9% lies. No, I'm just kidding. It's 100% the truth.
And that's what I like about it. And we share those same views. Is like you might not like what I say, but goddamn it, we live in America. You better defend the fuck my right to say it, right? You know, I'm not free from the consequences, and I understand that is his house. That's why I left. You know what I mean? It's your rules, it's your home, right?
And
But
that's
don't make it out like I'm the villain. Like I'm no villain, bro. I'm caught between this shit too.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And people are going to probably come out and see this and say, "Well, Julius and Brian are trying to play the victims." To that, I say, "Fuck you, whoever's watching, who thinks that."
Yeah, fuck you.
I'm not afraid to say that. You don't know a lot of shit, you know, and it's nobody's business. That's why I'm not airing it all out here. What went on, other stuff that went on. And I'm not going to say it because I'm not that kind of guy who's going to start name dropping and putting personal business deals or personal, any kind of stuff personal wise that was said between individuals besides what we're talking about, which is the topic here of my discussion. Any personal dealings as teacher, student, or friend was not going to be discussed on here.
This is what I will say about that, Brian.
Yeah.
I share the same view. I view it as like when you are sparring with a pro and you don't talk about what happened in sparring session, even if you lit him up or even you knocked him out, you know, in training camp. But I will say, if anything go down, I got a dead man switch. Fuck that. I took screenshots. Okay. So the thing is, like, I'll keep that private. Don't go after me. You know what I mean? Don't go after me. Like, I keep that private because the thing is, I just want to talk about like how I felt. And
you know, to be honest, there's no reason to even go down that road. It shouldn't even get that far. Yeah, you could talk about it, and you know what I mean. But I mean, like, and I was even thinking about inviting him on the show, but I don't know how that would have went. So I was kind of like, you know, maybe, you know, later on down the line, I would have him on. You don't have to be on there, but you know, I would talk about. Then I was like, you know, I'm not gonna waste my fucking time. If I was dropped like a piece of garbage or whatever, why in the fuck am I gonna waste my time, right? No, I'm not gonna waste my time. And some people were.
No, I just wanted them to hear from me, like, you know, because they wanted.
I'm glad you came on to do it.
I've been getting message for like a year and a half about it, and I'm like, I don't want to talk about it. When they ask me online, like, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about like what happened behind the scenes after that June and Paul show shit. Because that, first off, the June and Paul show, not my show. FMA-Discussion, not my show. So fuck it, it's not my house. You know.
And but honestly, a lot of people don't get that episode. We were called racist. It was a great episode.
I got called reverse racist, man. I got death threats from Europe and shit.
Yeah.
And I'm like, y'all know I was playing a role, right?
Eric, but he has left you alone, hasn't he, Julius?
Who has left me alone?
Talking about Dean.
Oh, is this a fanboy of his or what?
I'm not gonna say shit.
Well, whatever, man. I blocked his ass.
Okay.
I'll talk to him.
All right. Yeah, man. We're trying to be neutral on here, Eric. So, like, you know, we're trying to keep the thing neutral on there. He's still a student. He's still a student of the Dean's. So, yeah, I mean, he's kind of like where I was. Yeah, par for the course. Yeah, I know. He's a good guy, though. Eric's a good guy. Yeah, just like I said, in retrospect, if we had to do it over again, like I said, I would do it again. But yeah. All right, Eric, man. That's enough, dude. We're not gonna start threatening, man. Sorry, bro. We're not
He's threatening me?
Yeah, he said to smack your fat ass.
Sure.
I'm gonna block him. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, he's a Dean fanboy. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, he's pretty loyal to him. He was a cool guy, but he doesn't like when you talk about Dean, which I don't give a fuck. Like, this is my show. I talk whatever I want.
Yeah, this is your show.
Gonna be motherfuckers spying and shit. I told you. Told you. Which is good. I don't give a fuck. You know, you're a fanboy. You want to come here and suck dick, whatever. That's cool, man. Whatever. Yeah. Like I said, but yeah, I told you before. I'm not gonna allow threats on here or racial.
Did you block him?
Yeah, he's blocked. Yeah, he's blocked.
There you go.
Yeah. He was getting a little angry. You're talking about Dean. Anyway, for everybody else who's watching, yeah. Well, Guro Paul, sorry, man. This is my show, and I block motherfuckers who try to make threats on here. Sorry, I don't care if he's a good guy. I know Eric's a good guy. He might be heated, but I had to block him. I can't allow that to be on the show. Just because I know him, whatever. It doesn't matter. You're gonna get blocked. My show, my rules, right? Right?
Exactly.
There
Exactly.
you go. There you go.
There you go.
Yeah, I know Eric's a good guy, but he's just might get a little passionate because
Well, I didn't threaten Eric. So what's the problem?
I guess he doesn't like you talking about Dean, which whatever. That's his fucking deal. Doesn't matter. Anyway, yep, your show, your rules. There you go, man.
There.
Yeah. It doesn't matter, dude. This whole fucking I'm gonna go show up at your fucking front doorstep kind of shit. Whatever, man. Whatever. Like I said, I ain't afraid to give my motherfucking address out. I don't care. But yeah, I'm not gonna sit here and let people get threatened on here. It's not. We're not gonna do that on the show.
Well,
Anyway,
but here's the thing. Doesn't that prove our point, though? Don't that prove our point? See what happened?
mhm,
That's one of his circle, right?
Yeah.
Look at the attitude.
mhm.
Don't agree with free speech and look threaten violence right away. Doesn't that prove it?
You definitely proved it.
You know what I'm saying? The fruit
Yeah.
don't fall far from the tree, right?
But yeah, you got guys that are fiercely loyal to him. I ain't gonna talk shit because I wasn't like that. I wouldn't go on forums and be like, "Hey, fuck you, man." But I mean, like, you know what I mean? I would never do that. But just what I'm saying is, you got people that are like that, and that's what we were trying to show tonight. Threats to people like that, man. In this world and time, you can't do that, man. This is a crazy time we live in. You start pulling threats like that and doing stuff like that, it doesn't look good, man. It's just not good. And Eric, if you watch this show later on, man, dude, I'm sorry, man. I guess I can't allow that on the show, man. I can't, you know.
And I didn't threaten that guy. You know, there's nothing to do with him.
I know. So
I didn't insult him.
Eric, I say Eric, he's a good guy. He's usually level-headed and stuff. He might have let emotions get to him tonight.
I don't see his comments because I'm looking at your screen. So.
Oh yeah, I don't see any of his comments on here. If he wants to talk about it afterwards, he can. You know, I'm more than willing to talk about it, but I'm not going to sit here and let people get threatened. That's what I talked about at the beginning, remember? But anyway,
Yeah, but that proves my point. That proves my point right there.
Let's move on from that. It's not important. But yeah, I'm sure we're going to get that backlash afterwards. You know, that's why you got that block button, right? You can block them not to hear from them again. They don't exist in your world anymore, right? Social media has become a thing where people have put in threats, and you know, everybody wants to do something to somebody else. They're going to beat them. They're going to do this and that. Okay, you know, it's just people don't play around nowadays. You can't be doing shit like that.
No.
It costs you your life. I mean, I don't know. Violence to make an advance. I mean, maybe I want to smack Julius' ass too, but I don't know what that means. Yeah, but anyway, this has been good, man. This has been good. We're an hour and 48 minutes. I know you want to keep it under 2. But yeah, this has been good.
I appreciate this, Brian. It's very cathartic. Because I'm dropping out again. Probably won't hear from me again after like another maybe 2 years. Drop out of social media.
Well, yeah, I'll keep pop in time to I'm a messenger and we'll talk. But yeah, the feedback, dude. I don't give a fuck about the feedback. Everybody could fucking eat a dick who wants to add feedback. Half the motherfuckers don't even mention it. I don't even know one here in person. Like, that's why I said I got that block and delete button. I don't fucking know you from Adam and fucking Eve. Bye, bitch. I don't have to hear from you again. I'm about to lead the martial arts community together here next year or so. Anyway, I think you know, with a bunch of fucking twats we got in here, I've seen enough. I've fucking seen enough. And not only that, I've gotten what I wanted to get out of it already. Some people want to make it a lifelong journey. For me, I don't see it that way for me. I got into this whole thing when I was in the military. I started doing Muay Thai and I started doing it, you know, to do for health, to keep my boredom when I was overseas and stuff like that. Then I started doing it for self-defense reasons because the world was getting crazy. And I've kind of stuck to that whole thing. I'm not really in the art. I'm more the self-defense combat. That's why I'm taking combatives now. The world we live in is crazy, dude. And these people in every community, right? FMA, CLOT, we all have politics and stuff like that. But I haven't seen it in combatives. I mean, there's some twats in combatives when I've been seeing the circles, but a lot of people are generally kind of cool. Like, I mean, there's a great guy we're going to have on there, Richard Dimitri. Great guy from Canada. Non-political, calls it like he sees it. great fucking guy. We're gonna have him on the show. Julian, non-political, kind of just chill with everybody. Jason Schultz, cool, combative guy. Mike Raymond, fucking with Medusa, non-political, lays low. And guess what? They're all in combatives. Like, I'm not saying combatives is not without dickheads, because there is. But I just haven't seen it as much, man, since I've been doing it. I haven't seen the big politics. You know what I mean? But you get a lot of these fucking dudes. It's like, it's just, I don't know, man. Just like you saw right now, it's like threatening and, dude, it's like.
But here's wait. I didn't even see his comments because I'm just looking at your Fight House podcast thing, and so I wasn't threatening him. It wasn't addressed to him or nothing like that.
Yeah, I know.
And the thing is, I agree with you with the combatives circle. They tend to be really like Hema too. Tend to be really much cooler.
You know what, Guru Paul doesn't even have to be in Muay Thai. It could be on the fucking street. You want to come to my house and talk shit? Let's go fucking bang it out. You know what I mean? Of course, it doesn't end that way in a street fight. You keep going and going and going. There is no like, we're gonna beat the fuck out of each other and stop. Me, I'm kind of the guy. If you try to approach me and you're trying to hurt me, I'm gonna hurt you back to you. Ain't moving no more. That's just the way I just can't control myself, I guess. But I'm just not gonna I'm just not gonna sit there and fucking let you fucking hit me and be, all right, man, you blacking my eye. We're good now, right, bro? No. I've had too much.
Here's the thing. I know. Hey, man. The thing is, fat shaming too, because it's just like fat ass or whatever. I got called. It's fine. We can spar in wild card. We can set that up. Want to do that? Let's do 9 rounds. I'm cool.
Yeah.
We can sign up.
Well, I'll let you guys amongst yourselves. I'll say that one. I don't do sparring. Like I said, I'm totally different mindset. I'm gonna go fight you in the ring a couple rounds. No, if you come and threaten me or threaten my family, whatever, I'm fucking you up, dude. Whatever I got, what I mean? It's not gonna fucking be just, coming to my house and fuck you, man, or whatever, dude, don't come to my fucking, whatever. And I'm not threatening anybody on here. I'm just saying the way I look at it.
My point is, I proved my point in this episode, and I'm glad that happened. But that just show it. That does show it, doesn't it?
I get it. And on that note, I think we're going to kind of wrap this up because we went on an hour and 52 minutes.
Yes, sir.
I think we said what we had to say tonight. Like I said, if people are going to get mad because we made comments, you like them, do whatever. Go take it somewhere else. Go leave comments on other shit.
This is your house, your rules, Brian.
Yeah. Coach Danny, yeah, of course, Coach Danny. This is not even directed towards you, Coach. Let me tell you about Coach Danny. He came to my house. The man taught me some stuff. Totally respectful. We had a good time. We had barbecue. We had wine. His wife is awesome. We chilled out, relaxed. I made a beautiful meal. It was a great time. And of course, Coach Danny, if I'm not working, of course, you're going to be in like anytime your door's open. Julius, same thing. Doors open for you anytime you want to come stay.
And the thing is, like, we share a similar background because some of your family live right by where I used to live, right? Close to Honda, like right by Old Town Tustin, right by around that area. Definitely, when you show up here, I gotta meet, man.
We will, man. We will for sure. And this wasn't directed. I mean, everybody that's watching that hasn't made stupid comments or whatever. I have nothing but love for all you guys. I'm a pretty mellow guy. You know that, Julius. I'm a giving motherfucker.
Fuck yeah.
I'm always giving people shit. I gave you those sticks. I didn't ask for anything in return. I gave them people trainers. I gave them fucking people shit for the raffle. I've opened my fucking door for people to stay at my fucking home, for people, my family here. I fed people, not clothed them. Sorry, I'm getting fucking carried away now. I'm your fucking dad, right? No, you're taking showers because I respect you. I think you're a fucking awesome person, and I've allowed you to come in my life and share that with you. But the naysayers, they say, well, Brian's a fucking prick, a cocksucker, he's never done anything for me.
But here's the thing, and I want to get my sense in that as well. It's like I never had a problem. Even though that went down, this. I never had a problem with you and Guru Tom. Even when I got kicked out and when there was like a drama.
We still talked afterwards,
We still talk afterwards because the thing is, it wasn't personal because the thing is, like, I wasn't mad at y'all. That was not my problem. My problem was like, people took what we saw in that episode out of context. One, they didn't listen to what we had to say, and I didn't get to say my piece, and I wasn't allowed to, right? And then when I did try to, and the thing is, like, I reached out to the elders, reached out to me, and it's just like I was so confused because there's multiple people messaging me out, and they took advantage of the situation and made it even bigger than what it should be. and created even more strife in the background,
Mhm.
right? And I was so stressed about the time, man. I didn't know, like, did I do something wrong? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
I was playing a role. That's not how I feel. I got black, white, and Hispanic students, man.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. It's unfortunate it happened, man. But like I said, we moved on. And now it's time, after this is done, to bury this and move on. And we got some great episodes coming up, guys. So I want to thank Julius. Thank you, brother, for coming on.
Thank you, sir.
Telling, I know it took a lot to say what you had to say. I apologize for any comments that were against you. We'll take care of it. But thank you again for coming on, brother, and keep in contact.
I
We'll talk
will.
later.
I will. You're good, Brian. I don't. You don't hear this a lot. You're a good person. You're a good
Thank you.
airman too.
Appreciate it.
So
Thank you.
you know.
Appreciate it, man.
So
Like I said,
you
thank
guys
you.
got good elk hunting out there in New Mexico, man. Y'all
Yeah, I'm
very,
on the elk
y'all,
hunter now, man. I don't go
y'all
hunting.
very fucking stingy with your tags, man.
Yeah, the lottery here. Yeah, I got some coworkers I work with in the fucking lottery. It's like, oh, dude, I can get an elk tag. They're so fucking expensive.
Stingy. That's why you guys have the best elk hunting,
Hey,
man.
but the motherfuckers at work that shoot the elk, I was like, hey man, let me give you some elk burgers, elk steaks and shit, and I'll take it. And
Yeah.
I'll pay them for it. I'll drop a fucking C note or whatever. Hey man, it's $100. Give me a couple pounds, 100 pounds,
How
whatever.
far? How far is that from Albuquerque? Because you're all close to
I
like
am
the.
about 3 hours from Albuquerque. I'm
Because
south. I'm southern New Mexico. Las Cruces. Albuquerque is northern New
right, because
Mexico.
Las Cruces is close to the Air Force, the Air Force base, right?
Yeah, I work at Hallman, yeah, which is
Yeah,
about
that's right.
45 minutes from where I live at now. But we have the most of the elk hunting is in Rio Doso and Cloudcroft,
Hmm.
and like in Nagila, Silver City, high elevations in there. So, and then up north, Taos, Santa Fe.
Yeah,
There's a lot of
that's
elk
that's some
tags and
that's
stuff
some
like that.
pretty fine country over there, man. It's really pristine, bro.
Oh, dude, it's fucking nice, man. It's
Yeah,
nice.
it is.
And actually, we didn't when Dean was here. We didn't get to go because we were doing training. But I wanted to take him over there to Rio Doso because
Well, when we do, I gotta hit you up because that's like the best elk hunting probably in the country. Very stingy with their tags.
yeah, they are a lot of deer and elk up there. Orcs too. We got a lot of orcs shit up there too. A lot of orcs.
All right, man.
All right, man. Thank you, brother.
Gotta go.
Appreciate it. Thanks for coming on. And I'm gonna go ahead and drop you down, and I'm gonna go ahead and roll on out, do the final comments, and roll on out.
Go ahead, sir.
All right, guys. Well, there it is in a nutshell, guys. Um, things got a little crazy tonight, which we didn't expect. Emotions ran high, which is to be expected with this topic. But I think, and you could be the judge in this, I think we're pretty fair and balanced in this interview. We had the good and the bad. It wasn't all bad. Like I said, ultimately in the end, final notes, what Dean did with the show is great, and it's still great what he's doing with it. It's just that I don't agree the direction was coming in. That's my personal opinion. Um, you know, Other people think differently. That's fine. That's why we live in this great United States of America, right? Because we have the freedoms to make such opinions and have freedoms to express our views. So, in a nutshell, if I had to do it over again, I would do it again. But I would hope for a better outcome than what has happened. It's unfortunate what happens, but we live and we learn. We move on. I have moved on from the whole thing as far as being dropped as a student and being a moderator. Yeah, we're in a better place now. Fight House Talks podcast is growing. So tomorrow, when I advertise, 2R Arlene from PTK is going to be our guest. You don't want to miss it. I'm terrible at the goddamn flyers. I got to really look at them all. Let me pull on and let me post the flyer. I believe it's 11:30 a.m. Eastern time, and it would be 8:30 a.m. Mountain Standard Time and 7:30 a.m. Pacific Time. So 2 Arlene, PTK, talking about combat geometry and other cool stuff. Do not miss it tomorrow, guys. You're gonna have to see this face again. Coach Kurt is in Washington right now with the Water and Steel seminar, having a blast. So he'll be back towards the end of the month. We're gonna have Guru Ron and Benny on, and Todd Fosse is next after 2 and Arlene, I believe, August 19th. We're gonna be talking about concealed gun grappling and gun stuff. Get away from the whole martial arts kind of thing and talk a little bit about guns, firearms. So in this show, we kind of talk about a whole lot of different things. So thank you all for watching. Everybody that's left comments tonight, with the exception of the unnecessary threats. It's been a great show. Emotions ran high. That's cool. Whatever. Just always remember, don't come at me with bullshit later on. I will ignore it, or I'm not going to even fucking pay attention to it. It's not worth my time. The show was meant to get everything all out. We did. I think it was a fair and balanced show, like I said. There'll be people that will reflect. I'm sure there'll be a rebuttal video. I'm fully expecting it. Don't really care. As long as, personal attacks aren't made and families not involved, you can say all you want. But anyway, all right, guys. We will see you tomorrow at those times mentioned. I will post the flyer tomorrow, or maybe tonight. Well, yeah, I think most of you guys have seen it. But to Arlene Stevens tomorrow, PTK. Where's all my PTK? I know Coach Danny's on there. He's a PTK guy, so you won't want to miss it. To Arlene's always a gem, always a great person to have on, and we're gonna have a great show with her. So Fight House Talks podcast is growing. Great episodes to come in the future, guys. We're just getting started. So keep an eye out for more MMA, UFC, more women. We're going to try to get the most women we can, more than any other show, because we believe women have a voice, and we want to definitely get women on here more. Coach Kurt has done an excellent job of getting a lot of women practitioners on here. I'm working on quite a few myself. We've had Dr. Odette Russell. We're going to have two Arlene on. We've got a couple more people coming on. They're women. We're going to have Guru Kayan Kahudo and Mila Bell on. Another woman on. We're going to have a couple of the women C-Lot coming on. So we're going to have a lot of people coming on, guys. Stay tuned with us. Thank you for following. Have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening to us. And thank you for being fair and listen to what we have to say. All right, guys. Have a great night. I'm going to end it. And yeah, we'll see you tomorrow, guys. Take care. Have a great night.